Let's talk about the famous Immortal Li, yes, the one known as Iron-Crutch Li. Part 1. The Hermit Returns. After returning from Mount Hua, where he debated the Tao with a great sage, Li was utterly satisfied. With a heart full of awe and his mind spinning with revelations, he dove straight back into his secluded cave deep in the mountains. Why? To savor it all. He turned over the profound words of Patriarch Laozi and the golden guidance of Master Wan Shu again and again in his mind, tasting every layer of meaning. The more he pondered, the more he felt the truth of the Tao shining through. There he sat, legs crossed, back straight, eyes half closed, nose aligned with his heart, a perfect picture of focus. His cultivation soared, his spiritual strength deepened. And guess what? He actually mastered the art of yin spirit wandering, a power that allowed the essence of his soul to leave his body and drift freely between heaven and earth. His spirit could visit sacred peaks and mystical places with ease. Word of his feats spread like wildfire. All those reclusive sages and seekers of serenity caught wind of this extraordinary hermit, and flocked to him like bees to blossoms. Some came to become his disciples, others just to exchange wisdom. Before long, the entrance to Li's humble cave was practically a VIP lounge for Daoist masters. "Have you heard?" people would whisper. "That Immortal Li, deep in the mountains, he's beyond extraordinary. Yes, yes. He can leave his body and roam the universe, surely a true immortal." Part 2. A strange light appears. One day, Li was inside his cave, explaining the deep mysteries of the Tao to a few new disciples. Just as he reached the good part, bam, a strange light suddenly flashed at the entrance. It streamed in through the cracks around the door and windows, glowing with dazzling colors and bathing the room in a rainbow-like shimmer. Startled, Li stopped mid-sentence. His eyes widened like saucers. Stroking his beard, he stared into the swirling light for a long while, then frowned. "Huh? This isn't normal light," he muttered to himself. "There's something divine in it, celestial energy. Could it be? Some great immortal has descended upon my humble little cave." Excitement and unease stirred in his chest. "Stay here, my students," he said, standing up and tidying his threadbare robe. "Your master will be right back." With that, he strolled out of the cave and made his way toward the highest peak. Part 3. The Eagle on the Cliff. There he stood atop a sheer cliff, the wind howling around him. His robe fluttered like silk in a storm. What a majestic sight! As he looked out into the vast sky, something caught his eye. On a giant boulder across the gorge stood a mighty eagle. It calmly preened its glossy feathers, eyes sharp as lightning. The bird looked completely at ease, like that cliff was its own front porch. Seeing the eagle, Li felt something stir in his heart. He stroked his beard and sighed. Ah, the old book of songs was right. Even the smallest yellow bird finds a safe place to rest, and look at this eagle. It knows exactly when to stop, where to stay, and how to live in peace. It picked this perfect spot, calm, steady, unbothered. Even if the best archers in the world were down below aiming at it, what could they do? The most skillful traps couldn't even snag one of its feathers. Then his tone shifted. He pointed down at the world below, his voice rising with emotion. "But look at people in the mortal world, running around like headless chickens, chasing after scraps of fame and crumbs of fortune. They scramble, fight, lie, cheat for what? A few coins, a hollow title? They throw themselves into traps, only to fall face first, bloody and broken, realizing too late that none of it was worth it. Compared to that eagle, they don't even measure up to a bird dozing on a rock. Part 4. A Poem and a Heavenly Arrival. Feeling deeply moved, Immortal Li took a breath and spontaneously recited a poem aloud. Content with little, I seek no gain. Half-closed eyes, I shun worldly fame. Soaring robes atop the clouds, why cling to dust and shame? No sooner had the last word left his lips, boom, a miracle occurred. From the horizon came a swirl of colorful clouds, soft and radiant like silk. They rolled over the mountain like ocean mist, enveloping the entire peak. Within the haze, 2 figures slowly emerged, riding on white cranes. Their robes fluttered, their presence serene. Li rubbed his eyes, stood on tiptoe, craned his neck, and gasped so hard he nearly tumbled off the cliff. Who were they? None other than the grand founder of Daoism, himself the supreme elder, Lord Taishang Laojun, and his close companion, Master Wan Shu. Part 5. The Grand Master speaks. Immortal Li was in a total panic. Oh heavens! He cried. Patriarch, Master Wan Shu, your disciple Li Xuan failed to greet you from afar. Please forgive me. He fumbled to fix his robe, bowed low, so low his beard nearly brushed the ground, and trembled like a rabbit. His heart was pounding like a drum in his chest. Taishang Laojun sat calmly atop his white crane, a vision of grace, no white hair, childlike face, eyes full of ancient wisdom. Seeing Li's flustered yet sincere manner, he gently stroked his long beard and let out a hearty laugh. His voice was rich and deep, like a temple bell. Ah, Li Xuan, I see you've climbed high, looked far, and found insight in what you saw. That moment of clarity, that was the very spark I once hoped you'd find. Good, very good. Even the crane next to him seemed pleased. It nodded its long neck and gave a loud snort, making Laojun laugh again. With a wave of his hand, Laojun floated down beside Lei and motioned toward his humble thatched hut. Come, he said, let's speak more inside. Li didn't dare hesitate. He bowed again and led the 2 immortals into his little straw-roofed cottage. Once inside, he dropped to his knees, bowing like a schoolboy before his teacher. Patriarch, please. Your foolish disciple still dwells in ignorance. I beg you grant me your guidance. Show me the way. Part 6. The Heart of the Tao. Laojun sat cross-legged, his expression serene yet radiant with wisdom. He began to speak not loudly, but with a voice that seemed to echo deep inside the soul. Li Xuan, listen well. The path of the Tao is not about gaining more, it's about shedding what's unnecessary. To progress, you must first reduce. Reduce your desires. Reduce your distractions. Again and again. Reduce until your heart becomes empty and clear, a still mirror. That is the true power of non-action, doing nothing, yet letting all things be done through you. Li Xuan nodded fervently, eyes wide, not daring to blink. Laojun continued, now with a warm, gentle tone. When you walk through this world, be like a mountain stream, clear, cool, and calm. Keep your inner energy upright and full. Treat others with sincerity. Don't cling to your own schemes or calculations. Seek no gain. Hold no self. Master Wan Chu smiled slightly, nodding along in agreement. The room felt as though time itself had paused, filled with clarity and peace. Part 7. An Invitation to the West. Then, just as the moment grew still, Lao Shang's voice shifted, carrying a new excitement. "These days I've been feeling a stir in my heart," he said with a twinkle in his eye. "I plan to travel westward, visit the lands beyond. See how the Tao breathes in other realms. And you, my little disciple, your roots are strong, your mind sharp. How about joining me on a spirit journey to the western heavens?" Do you dare?" Immortal Li nearly fell over from joy. "Do I dare? Patriarch, I would be honored beyond words. To follow you across the heavens? That would be the blessing of 10 lifetimes. I wouldn't miss it even if it cost me my life." Laojun chuckled in satisfaction. "Very well. Then it's settled." He leaned forward, his gaze steady. 10 days from now, you must still your mind, gather your spirit. Let your essence fly free. Your soul will find me, no matter how far. But listen well, do not be late. Do not make this old man wait." Having delivered his instructions, Lao Sun looked at Master Wan Chu. They exchanged a knowing glance. "Let's go," he said. The 2 immortal cranes stretched their wings with a thunderous cry, lifting the masters high into the sky. In a blink, they turned into 2 tiny specks on the horizon gone. Part 8. Preparing for the soul journey. After the 2 immortals disappeared into the clouds, the mountain seemed to grow quiet, as if it too were holding its breath. Immortal Li stayed there for a long time, still in his bowing posture, neck craned toward the empty sky, eyes wide in awe. He muttered to himself over and over, "Oh my, oh my, oh my, such presence, such majesty. That's what a real immortal looks like. Divine, absolutely divine." At last he lowered his arms, rubbed the stiffness from his back, and walked slowly back toward his little hut, still turning around every few steps, like he didn't want to leave the spot where the immortals had stood. Time flowed like a mountain stream. In the blink of an eye, the 10 days had passed. Li knew the moment had come. He called for his eldest disciple. Let's just call him Yang Xiaomeng, a wide-eyed, well-meaning lad whose name literally meant little confused. "Come here, my boy," Li said, sitting cross-legged, his face solemn. "Something big is about to happen." Yang Xiaomeng scampered over, kneeling at his master's side, fidgeting with nervous hands. Li looked him straight in the eyes. "Your master is about to perform a powerful technique soul departure. I'm leaving this body behind to travel to the western heavens and meet with Patriarch Laojun himself." Yang Xiaomeng gasped so hard he nearly swallowed his tongue. Li continued, his tone growing more serious. "Now listen. While my spirit is away, this body, this shell, will remain here, still and silent like a clay statue. I'm trusting you, and only you, to watch over it." He pointed a finger for emphasis. "Mark my words. I will be gone for exactly 7 days. If my spirit returns before the 7th night ends, everything's fine. I'll wake up just like that. But," and here his voice dropped, grave and heavy, "if the moon rises on the 7th day, and I have not come back, Then you must not wait any longer. No crying, no hesitating. You find dry wood, build a pyre, and burn this body. Understood? Yang Xiaomeng's face went pale. Burn, master? Yes, Li said firmly. That's called soul liberation through fire. If my soul is truly lost, better to release this body than leave it behind like some forgotten puppet. But listen carefully. Li leaned in closer, his eyes blazing. If 7 days have not passed, not even by a single incense stick's time, not even by one blink of an eye, you must guard this body with your life. Protect it like it's a treasure handed down from your ancestors. No bumps, no bruises, no falling sideways, and definitely no wild beasts dragging it off into the woods. You hear me? Poor Yang Xiaomeng was already drenched in sweat, nodding so fast his head might fall off. Why, master? I understand. I'll watch over you. Not even a mosquito will dare land on you. I'll slap it into next week. Part 9. The spirit leaves the body. Seeing that his disciple had agreed, though still, clearly panicking, Immortal Li finally let out a long breath. He straightened his robe, smoothed his sleeves, and sat down cross-legged in the center of the hut. He closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. Then another. Silence. Yang Xiaomeng crouched nearby, not daring to make a sound. Even the wind outside seemed to hush. Then whoosh, a faint shimmer appeared above Li's head. A misty blue glow, like morning fog touched by moonlight, slowly rose into the air. It twisted and drifted upward, as delicate as silk in the breeze. That was it. Li Xuan's spirit, his very soul, had left the body. The glowing mist hovered for a moment, then slipped through the roof as if it weren't even there, sailing into the sky and disappearing into the west, off to find the Grand Patriarch. Back inside the thatched hut, the body of Immortal Li sat completely still. No breath, no blink, no heartbeat. Like a painted statue. Yang Xiaomeng stared wide-eyed, hands sweating, lips trembling. He tiptoed around the body once. Then again. Then again. His voice, small and nervous, whispered, "Master, are you okay?" The body, of course, said nothing. Yang Xiaomeng swallowed hard. Okay, I got this. 7 days. Just 7 days. I'm going to guard this body like it's gold. No eating, no sleeping, no blinking too long. He found a straw mat and unrolled it next to his master's seat. Sat down, hugged his knees. Eyes locked on Li's unmoving form like a hawk. A mosquito buzzed by. Smack, Yang Xiaomeng clapped the air. Not today, Bug. You're not laying a single leg on my master. To be continued. Will Immortal Li's soul return in time? Will Yang Xiaomeng survive 7 days of guarding? Or mess things up with one foolish mistake? What wonders await in the western heavens? All will be revealed in the next chapter.